So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
He signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher. A lot of this coming out via multiple lawsuits that essentially, if we were to put it in a nice context, or at least use a euphemism for something that's really disgusting, the allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher into Hollywood. He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything.
Interviews 0:0/3:20. Candace Owens opened the segment in a way that instantly told viewers something was off. There was no trademark sharp delivery, no sarcastic grin, none of that "I'm ready to debate the entire internet" attitude she usually carries like armor. Instead, she looked weighed down, like whatever she was about to say had been pressing on her chest for days. She inhaled slowly before speaking, and even then, her voice came out softer than anyone has ever heard from her. Candace confessed she had been avoiding this topic, not out of fear, not because of backlash, but because it hits her in a place she doesn't like exposing on camera. She tried to maintain her composure, but the tremble in her voice betrayed her instantly. A couple of times she stopped mid-sentence, blinked hard, and steadied herself as if holding back everything she didn't want to feel. She explained that she had been rewatching old clips, ancient interviews, a backstage footage, anything connected to Justin Bieber's teenage years. And somewhere in that deep dive, something inside her cracked. Candace said she expected to handle this the way she handles every story, direct, detached, analytical. But she couldn't. The deeper she went, the more uneasy she became. A kind of sickness in her stomach she couldn't shake. And the longer she sat with it, the more personally it hit her. She said, imagining a child in those circumstances, trapped, exposed. He mishandled, was emotionally overwhelming. Before anything else, before any analysis or commentary, Candace said there's one point she needs the public to register. Really register. Justin's age. She said it quietly the first time, then repeated it, stronger, almost like she was trying to convince herself to accept what she had uncovered. 15, Candace whispered, pausing as her gaze drifted downward. Her eyes shimmered, glossed over. Like the weight of what she was about to say was almost unbearable. He was only 15. 15, not a man, not a grown adult, not someone equipped to navigate power, manipulation, or the kind of adults who can be dangerous when unchecked. Candace shook her head slowly, as if the sheer thought of it was unbelievable. That society, the media, and the world ever treated this as normal. She broke it down for viewers, slow and deliberate. The moment a child becomes famous, adults stop protecting them. Suddenly, everyone acts like the kid is already mature, as if success alone gives them insight, understanding, or immunity. Candace called it one of the most ruthless illusions in celebrity culture. Fame doesn't shield a teenager. Fame exposes them. She explained it bluntly. Fame throws kids into rooms and situations they don't belong in, surrounded by adults they shouldn't have access to, all while the adults around them are given cover under the guise of mentorship, guidance, or opportunity. Candace confessed something that clearly pained her to admit. She said there was a time when she looked at Justin Bieber and assumed his life was a dream. Glamorous, enviable, perfect. Her voice cracked slightly, and she had to glance down for a second. The shame obvious. She said she feels guilty now because when you look past the surface, a much darker truth emerges. And Justin didn't just become famous early, he lost his childhood early. And as Candace kept digging, the more she uncovered, the more she realized he might not have had a childhood at all. He was thrust into a machine. She explained how the entertainment industry treats young talent like investments. Once a child gains value, entire lives are structured around them. Teams expand, pressures intensify, expectations never stop. And at that point, it's no longer about the child's well-being. It's about keeping the money flowing, protecting the brand, and maintaining control. Candace Owens explained that what terrifies her the most is the reality of that kind of environment. Predators don't need to creep in through shadows or hidden doors. They can simply walk in smiling, charm on full display, because power itself opens doors that should never exist. Then she mentioned Diddy, and you could feel the shift in her energy. It wasn't anger. It was disappointment mixed with disbelief, the kind of disbelief that makes your chest ache. She paused, almost hesitating to even say his name, as if acknowledging him in this context hurt. Candace said she had gone back to old footage where Diddy joked casually about spending time with Justin, making comments that sounded way too familiar, way too comfortable, the kind of access no adult should ever have to a teenager. Her eyes glistened with tears as she recounted it. "Oh, the most unsettling part," she said, voice shaking, "is that people laughed. They applauded. They reposted it like it was funny." She shook her head slowly, barely above a whisper. "Why did we laugh?" She continued. "Watching it now, it's not funny at all. It looks wrong. It feels wrong. Deep down. Deep. Many people probably knew it felt wrong, but they didn't want to admit it." Candace laid it out plainly. The entertainment industry has perfected the art of normalizing the inappropriate whenever it benefits the powerful. She stayed within the bounds of YouTube-appropriate language, but she didn't sugarcoat the reports. Allegations have surfaced about Justin being taken into private spaces that were completely inappropriate for a minor, spaces where secrecy is enforced and silence is expected. What struck her most, Candace said, wasn't the location itself. It was the child. She described Justin as quiet, withdrawn, almost wishing he could vanish from it all. Her voice broke. "That's a child. she said, swallowing hard, wiping under her eye to keep the tears from falling. The weight of it, the vulnerability of a teenager in that world, was unbearable even for her.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're
He
at.
got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. Then he was scooped up, and suddenly he was a part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, hey man, why don't you pick up my phone calls? There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years old and said, why aren't you picking up my phone calls? And he's like, oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number. And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, business, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged at Diddy's parties, that they were pouring out the liquor bottles and replacing it with other drugs. He kept...
To my limits. Oh, I gotta feel that experience. I'm coming back. So good. Happy New Year! Woo!
Candace Owens explained that a 15-year-old simply doesn't have the tools to protect themselves in an environment like that. Teens don't understand power the way adults do. They don't recognize manipulation when it comes dressed in compliments, gifts, or invitations that seem harmless. She said everyone keeps pretending Justin had real choice in those situations. But what choice does a child have when every adult around him is influential, connected, and capable of shaping his career, his team, his future? Saying the wrong word could cost him everything. Then Candace reached the part of the story that nearly broke her. She spoke about the years that followed, the years when the world watched Justin struggle in public. The same people who had access, who could have helped, mocked him instead. They called him spoiled, they made jokes, they laughed, even when it was obvious he was not okay. Her voice grew soft, eyes glistening. I said, "We all watched it," she said, pausing, the weight of the truth sinking in, and instead of asking what happened, we laughed. Candace made it clear, trauma doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like chaos, reckless behavior, self-destructive patterns, ways to numb thoughts you don't know how to survive with. She said, "Once you see it through that lens, Justin's struggles don't read as entitlement anymore. They read as survival." She pointed to old footage. Old interviews, forced smiles, guarded eyes, tense postures. Candace insisted these weren't random moments. They were signs, warnings, silent cries for help. And then she asked the hardest question of all, the one that cut her visibly. Where were the adults? Not as a rhetorical debate point, but as a question that screamed accountability, the kind that still echoes decades later. Candace Owens spoke with the weight of genuine heartbreak. She reminded viewers that Justin was never truly alone. He was surrounded by adults at every turn, Managers, executives, mentors, handlers, industry insiders. Plenty of people profited from his fame. Plenty of people built careers and fortunes around him, while the one person who needed protection the most, the child, was left exposed. Her voice trembled as she said it. It's almost impossible not to get emotional realizing that so many adults safeguarded the brand, the money, the empire, but didn't protect the kid. Candace broke down the cruel mechanics of Hollywood. This industry runs on fear, and fear breeds silence. People don't speak up because they're terrified of being blacklisted, losing deals, losing access. Silence becomes a shield for the powerful, while the vulnerable, the child, pays the price. And she didn't hold back. Justin paid that price. She paused, inhaling deeply to steady herself, the weight of it nearly overwhelming. But Candace refused to leave the story in despair. She spoke of survival. Justin endured. He grew up, struggled, rebuilt his life. He leaned into faith. He sought peace. He fought to reclaim a semblance of normalcy. Her voice softened with respect as she acknowledged, he deserves credit for surviving a system that chews up young stars and spits them out broken. Near the end, she addressed Diddy's role, but not with anger, not with shouting. Her tone was grave, measured, heavy with seriousness. She said it plainly, power doesn't last forever, money doesn't erase the harm, and time cannot make wrongdoing vanish. Candace warned that truth has a way of emerging, especially when the patterns are too clear to ignore. She wiped her face lightly, fighting back tears, and spoke slowly, deliberately. The world can't undo what happened, but it can stop pretending this was normal. It can stop making excuses for the powerful. It can stop laughing when child stars crumble under the weight of a system built to exploit them.